Hello, people of God. This is my Jacob's Way TV, and I'm Dupi Dupi Singer. This is episode 170, 170, 170. I might look a little different to you today. Um, Pardon me. Um, I just want my skin to breathe, and the weather is hot. I don't want to be sweating while recording, and it's good for you to see who I am without the makeup. I want to talk to you about what just happened in church not too long ago. You will probably be listening to this a long time after it has been recorded, but it will still be relevant by the time you hear it. You know what I pastor all the streets and homeless men under the tree, and in God's own wisdom, because I wouldn't have known. He had told me even before they came that I should not take offerings from them. I should not take money from them. And I remember that I said it before, and I to ask the Lord, but offerings, is by, offering, the act of giving an offering is biblical. And the Lord never answered me again, it was gone. But I have learned over the years to obey the Lord. I didn't know the kind of people that were going to come. By that time, the boys had not come. And of course, by the time they came, they were all bad boys. So till today, we do not take offerings because even though they might not be armed robbers, there might not be armed robbers in the midst of the people I presently pastor. I really do not know. I can't trust their income. The Lord said to me, take a tithe then when you are sure of the income of the person. But I so far no offering. So recently the issue of money came up in church because one of them had asked me to borrow him money. And I brought the matter up in church. I said, why would I borrow anybody money? Well, am I a pastor? Is a church there for people to come and borrow money? Another one of them said, especially when the church is not a bank. And then one of them put up his hand and said, well, he has been to a big church where he heard somebody give a testimony about how he became homeless. And he was picked up and locked up. And the church people came for him, looked for him, and gave him enough money to get himself an accommodation and to start, to have a vocation that will bring him money. I said, well, thank God for that church. But here we do not give offerings, and I have to depend on whatever the Lord brings to me, for me, to manage my own life, and of course to feed them and give them some pocket money. That on top of that, I don't think anybody should come. And if I start loaning money to people, then um, it will not stop. Meanwhile, the Lord Himself says, I should not borrow money. So God says I should not borrow money. Why should I encourage people in church to borrow money? In fact, I said to them that if I indulge in borrowing them money or loaning money to them, that that might end up having a negative effect because the people will not pay their money and they will not return the money, and so they will run away from church. And then one day God is going to ask me, what is happening? Why are you sending my people out of church by wanting to be kind to them, the kind of kindness that I have not asked you to be kind to them? And then one of them put up his hand and said, Mommy, some of the things you are teaching us, I see them happening practically outside. And I said to him, please tell me your story. And I told the story of uh, a man, a driver, of a public bus, you know, who slept under the bridge where other bus drivers slept or still sleep. And it was at the time of the election, around the same time that Nigerian currency was like some parts of Nigerian currency was being changed, and the people were experiencing difficulty at getting cash. It was a time that even the Okada rider was doing online transaction with 200 naira, you know, rides or ride. There was a time that people had to queue, you know, plenty people queued in front of the banks to look for cash during the last 2023 election in Nigeria. But this bus driver was lucky. They didn't know how he became that lucky because when at the end of the day, other bus drivers had come and had complained about the fact that they did a lot of online transaction with their passengers. He came with a lot of cash. He came with a lot of cash. And then the other guys knew how to rub his ego for him. Instead calling him chairman, hailing him, saying you are the best. Come where everybody is looking for cash. You seem to have a lot of cash like this. He was the bus driver. He was not the bus owner. And then um, they now said, let's go and enjoy ourselves. Like they would do in the evenings. So they went to a bar. Told me about a new drug that is in town that is called Colorado. In fact, that day they laughed themselves to stupor. They say Colo what? They say mommy just call it Colo for short. They said this drug is bad and it's expensive. He said that for if you buy 1,000 nairas worth, you just get only one sniff of like you sniff of like as if you're puffing cigarette from it. Now you'll be lucky if you can get a second sniff. So I said, well, is that one sniff or two sniff or those two sniffs? Will they not do anything dangerous to the body? They looked at me and said, that thing can make anybody high. And they started telling me stories of what Colorado has done to people. I listened to all of them that day. So the guy that started the story now continued his story. And he told us how, after hailing this driver who had cash, he took him to the bar and they gave him, somebody bought the Colorado for him. And another bought a second one for him. He was used, he could handle one, he couldn't handle two. But they held him so much so, called him chairman. So much so, you can do it, you can do it. And then he agreed to take the second one. And of course, the body could not handle it. So he started traveling, he was rolling on the ground and he was not himself, was talking nonsense, hallucinating, and was, I don't know, what effect that thing has on them, but it wasn't good. So the guys that lured him to take the second one now asked him, you see, we have to take you to where is your money? Where's your money? Tell us where you kept your money. We can go and get money so we can take you to the hospital. You need to get to the hospital. So he was able to mutter to them, where his money was kept. And they went to look for money and they found plenty money. And those ones were not, they didn't have any plan to take him to any hospital. So they've divided the money amongst themselves and disappeared into thin air. And they came back shortly after me, they found the guy dead. I mean, dead, dead. And they, they kind privily put him back in his bus, drove his bus back to where he normally parked ordinarily. And everybody went back to his own bus to wait for the morning when they wake up very early to start shouting their destinations to prospective passengers. Of course, they had planned it. Then sometime somebody said, "Where is this guy? Where is this guy?" And they said, "Let's check him in his bus." Of course, they knew he was dead. And they said, "Ah, this man is dead. Ah, this man is dead." And they were the ones who went to the police station to say, "We found him dead in his bus. They found him dead in the bus." And the police couldn't find any lead. And the police, of course, had to take the body away to go and bury. You remember what Jesus said in John chapter 10, verse 10? The thief cometh not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I have come to give them life and to give them more abundantly. That's not the end of my story. In fact, the next episode will continue and you will hear more of a kind of a mentality, the guys that are on the streets and the youths that are carefree about being careful and carefree about being careful. You see, there's a kind of poetic thing to it. Being careful about how to spend their youth, their youthful days. The Bible says, "Remember the Lord your God when you are young, when the days of evil have not come." An interesting story awaits you. This is my Jacob's Way TV. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so that you can know exactly when another video is ready. I'm Dupi Dupi Singer. God bless you. Bye bye.